A warm welcome to our presentation, Business Transformation Suite Wins, how SAP and Tricentis support the business transformation of our joint customers. We are in Vienna today. We are in the headquarters of Tricentis. My name is Mark Thier and I'm heading Application Lifecycle Management for SAP. And I'm happy to be hosted by Wolfgang Platz, founder and Chief Strategy Officer of Tricentis. Hello, Wolfgang.
Hello, Mark. My pleasure. Hello, everybody. Great to have you with us when we talk about this super interesting topic, and let's get it started.
So let's see how we together support the business transformation of our joint customers. Now, business transformation is always to go from an as-is into a to-be. And it's always about rethinking business processes, so you have always to start with the business process. And then we are in the discipline of business process management, which is powered by our Signavio solution. With Signavio, you can model your business processes as is and to be. You can actually mine the existing executions of the business processes with process mining. You can map that to customer journeys. And finally, you can share and publish the process models with everyone, with every employee in your enterprise. Now, the whole motion of business process management is driven by innovating processes, standardizing and harmonizing them, and obviously also automating them. And you can only do this with a to-be software solution. And that brings you right away into the application lifecycle. So you start with best practice content in mapping processes that you have with the best practice procedures and processes of SAP. You conduct your fit to standard workshops together between the solution provider and the business. You're deriving from their requirements. And finally, you're documenting your solution as part of the fit to standard and fit gap workshops. From there, we are driving a guided implementation that takes you through all the configuration activities in the project. And then finally, when the solution is built, we finally have to basically see whether we are ready for deployment. And that's when actually test management in Solution Manager and Tricentis would take over. And here I would hand over to my friend Wolfgang.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, so it's super interesting to see what's happening here. On one hand, you have the input of your best practices from the business process side on the very left. But then, as Mark already mentioned, at a certain point of time, you need to test all this, right? So when you have design, build, it goes into test. And here it is Tricentis tooling that is very, very tightly integrated into this application lifecycle management by SAP, providing capabilities that are inevitably necessary when you really want to speed up your journey towards an optimized lifecycle management. And this is enterprise continuous testing with a strong test automation capability in there, but it also has a non-functional testing in there, which is performance testing. And before you even go into this, we would want to be very explicit about the question, what do you really need to test, answered by change impact analysis. What I liked about this picture, Mark, especially when I saw it the first time, was that it looks a bit like a glass ball to me, right? Like the glass ball that shows the way into the future. And I think that is also a very nice metaphor that we are seeing in the positioning of this application lifecycle management component, which is nothing less but a real entrance and analytics entrance, single pane of glass into all the KPIs you need to monitor on that journey.
Yeah, absolutely, Wolfgang. What is key in this solution is that we are also providing the analytics for that whole life cycle. So to make sure that all the stakeholders from the business and from the IT are absolutely aligned and on the same page where the business transformation stands from a solution perspective. And also we want to make sure that SAP as the solution provider understands your transformation and make sure that we are proactively supporting you. And we only get that if we have also the visibility into your quality assurance. I would like to give you just a glimpse on that, how that pane of glass really looks like. But before I do that, let me explain how often I see the situations at customers. I see really a lot of siloed operations. We have a process manager that might use Signavio. We have a test coordinator that might use Tricentis. And then we have a couple of SAP folks running around in the projects and managing all the analytics somehow with Excels. And that is definitely not the optimal support for your business transformation. Please don't work in silos, but work with an integrated a solution that really brings all these pieces together. When you would do that, when you would really use application lifecycle as your integration engine for your business transformation, by the way, included in any subscription maintenance contract and invoice with SAP, then you have the optimal support and all your stakeholders would be aligned. What would you get? You would get one methodology and tool chains through BPM, ALM, testing, up to analytics for the project. You would get one process hierarchy, making sure that there is the Signavio solution manager processes are totally aligned with the ones you would see in the folders in the test automation in Tricentis. We would be able to leverage best practices, for example, test content that SAP delivers for its processes right away, and we don't need to reinvent them in the project. And finally, we would also make sure that there is a proactive support and an end-to-end traceability from the requirement to the deploy, making sure that there is no break suddenly in the test orchestration and there is no handover from testing to deployment. So that's super important to have all these benefits. ALM would really provide you with all these benefits. With working in silos, you wouldn't get all of these efficiency gains for your project. So this is basically this single pane of glass that we talk so often. We call that the solution readiness dashboard in Solution Manager, and it brings together where do we stand with the project, what is the next queue gate, what are the work packages and work items, where are the requirements, the schedule. It's about risk issues and scope changes. It's about spec and documentation availability, readiness of the unit tests, readiness of the process-oriented tests. Where are the defects? Where are the defect corrections? Yeah. So all that ALM flow is coming together in one nice view, which you can use out of the box without creating any PowerPoints or Excels in your steering meetings. Yeah. It's basically, I call it the project board of the future. Right. It's not being stuck with fake PowerPoints, but it's basically looking into the real situation and with the possibility to click everywhere and to see more details on demand. So this is the overall ALM analytics and traceability that we provide with the readiness dashboard, with the process readiness dashboard, with the requirement traceability, finally also with the test and release analytics for the test coordinator and the deployment manager. And you can integrate that into SAP Analytics Cloud. We have an open API strategy here, or even in external analytics tools that you might use on corporate level. All of our tooling is actually anchored in one business process master list, so that really we make sure that there is one single source of truth on how your to-be processes will look like. Let us go through the phases of the application lifecycle. In design, we would basically model the business processes in Signavio, change the best practices as needed in the fit to standard workshops, and then from there document the requirements that then would be implemented in the build phase. We would basically map the business processes to the software solution of SAP. All of that you can also integrate into a Scrum dashboard to manage the project more in an agile fashion. And once the solution is built, we would then look into the different capabilities of testing.
And that is my part now, I guess, huh? So we would like to distinguish here between a test preparation and test execution, just as the two streams that you see on the slide indicated. Let me make clear that the whole solution that we have come up with here with regards to software testing is very much joint between SAP and Tricentis. You see this even more indicated by the different colors. The blue things would be part of your SAP enterprise support. The green things would be additionally commercial components you can purchase through our partnership. What it really goes about is a complete test management and defect management layer that then leads into manual testing, but from there goes certainly into the automation that everybody needs more and more when you go into these optimized lifecycle management. And then it has the strong execution capabilities that are required to make sure that you have a clear diagnosis on how your application is currently performing and working.
Yeah, and once basically we get via these mechanisms green light to deploy, we would then manage centrally from our ALM platform all the deployment. This is managing all the process and the workflow controls, but also making sure that physically the transports are happening through the hybrid landscape in our cloud products and on-prem products that you would use as part of your future solution landscape. Part of deployment is not just the technical layer, but also the deployment more from a training perspective. So actually we can export all that process structure, that is the anchor point, as I explained before, into the learning management solution, and that is SAP Enable Now. And you would then be able to conduct a process-oriented learning curriculum for all your end users. So also that integration is available more from the deployment perspective of the skills that people can really finally use the environment. All right, that's the story that's the integrated toolchain. And now I would like to ask Wolfgang to basically summarize it and wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mark. I'm happy to do that. Also to make sure that I really understood the concepts and the positioning that you've come up with. So the way I would look at this is that with ALM, we have a central orchestration unit for your entire application lifecycle management. And here we now connect from two different sides. On the input side, from the business process modeling perspective, it is Signavio. When it comes to software testing, it is our tooling from Tricentis that is going to provide you with all this efficiency help. And last but not least, ALM, while orchestrating, is also your insight. It is the way for you to what we want to call feel the pulse of your business transformation. It's going to have all the information required for you guys to really follow the most efficient transformation route that you can ever get to. So that's the exciting story. I hope you liked it just as the two of us like it. And see you soon.
Happy to roll out the combined solution of SAP and Tricentis together with my partner here. And really happy to support your business transformation in an optimal way.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nicola Alec, and I'm a product manager for testing for SAP Solution Manager and SAP Cloud ALM. In this video, I will demo to you how SAP and Tricentis can bring you a full business transformation suite. Let's go into the details. You might have seen this picture before. It explains how the application lifecycle management solutions from SAP, which are SAP Solution Manager and SAP Cloud ALM, bring together Signavio for business process modeling and Tricentis for test automation into a full end-to-end suite which will support your business transformation. Moreover, the capabilities in terms of analytics and support of SAP Solution Manager will provide you also added great value in achieving this transformation. Let's go through the processes. We have overall analytics, which help you achieve visibility, transparency on your project progress, but also traceability on your business requirements and test progress. One of the main pillars of this is the business process documentation, which allows you to have both from the business and the IT point of view, a unified view on the business processes of your organization. Let's start with the design phase. Here, Solution Manager, SAP Solution Manager integrates with the business process capabilities of Signavio to provide your business user the total capabilities that they need in modeling the business processes, as well the as-is business process as the to-be business process for your transformation. We have then the build capabilities of SAP Solution Manager, which allow you to map what has been designed by the business persons into IT requirements, and also, of course, develop these requirements. Then comes the time for testing. In here, we support, of course, both manual and automated testing in SAP Solution Manager. And thanks to our partnership with Tricentis, we open up to testing of non-SAP software, right? So this really allows you, our customers, to do end-to-end testing for all your business processes with SAP or without SAP business processes and business systems. Please note the legend on this slide: everything which is in green is subject to license agreements, and everything which is in blue is part of the license of your enterprise support contract with SAP. Then once the testing has been done and your solution is validated, You can go into the deployment management, and here again we provide to you full capabilities, full traceability reports so that you can deploy with confidence what has been successfully tested by your organization. Also, without forgetting the learning management aspect of it. Thanks to SAP Enable now, you can also transform the assets that you have in Solution Manager into learning material for your teams and organization. Let's go now really into the end-to-end demo and take a look at this whole process. First of all, I would like to give you some introduction to our terms, terminology, and the different entities that we have. On the left-hand side in the process management panel, you will find design documents. You will also find test cases there. The business processes will be changed based on requirements. These requirements will be sliced into work packages, which will become technical entities to manage the development of these requirements, the technical development of the technical implementation of these requirements. These work packages will be also divided into work items to manage smaller units of work. And then everything here will be tested. We have a project management aspect. Everything is split into waves, big deliveries, and into sprints, smaller deliveries. We also have a testing aspect. We have test plan and test packages, of course, with defects. And all this is supported by full application lifecycle management analytics, which allow you to get the full picture, the full visibility on your project progress, on your testing progress, and of course on your deployment progress. It is also important to note that SAP Solution Manager has great integration capabilities with other analytic tools like the SAP Analytics Cloud or other third-party analytic tools. Let's go now into the demo. We will start here in Signavio. We have a business process which is in the current state of implementation, and our business users decide to implement a new process step for this business process, which is called monitor stock. This is done in Signavio by a business user which know exactly which value they need to add to their business. This is then transferred to SAP Solution Manager, and you can see here the new entry monitor stock. You can see that there are no requirements attached to this new entry for the time being. And what we will do now is to create a requirement for this new entry. You can see here we are in the requirement application, and we've just created a new requirement. Provide Fiori app for monitor stock. Based on this requirement, we're now going to create the work package. The requirement is a business oriented. This would be created by a business person who can best specify the needs of the business. Then going into the next level, and we can see here that we're moving into the build area. This would be done probably either by the project manager or by a solution architect who is going to look into the requirement for the business user and turn that into what we call a work package, which is an entity to support the development activities. You can see here that the work package is automatically linked to the same business process as the requirement. Remember, we always keep this relationship to the business process as they are the entity that will guide our business transformation. Moving into the next steps, we're looking back at the requirement. We can see here that our requirement is approved, and we find here the relationship between the requirement and the work package which was newly created for this requirement. Now, as a test manager, right, we have to test this requirement via the work package and work items that were created for it. So in the solution documentation, I'm going to create a new test configuration, which is an automatic test case. And to do so, I'm going to use the Tricentis integration with Solution Manager. You can see here that I'm going to start the creation of the automatic test case in Solution Manager, giving it, this is the technical name. We're going to give it a more human-readable name, and we're going to launch the integration with Tricentis tools. I'm now in the Tricentis authoring environment. You can see that my test case name has been properly transferred to Tricentis. I have now information which is specific to the integration with Solution Manager, and I can create my test case here by adding the different steps that I want, and here just manage the life cycle of my test case in the Tricentis application. Once this is done, I can return to SAP Solution Manager, and here, very important step, I'm going to create the relationship between my work package and, of course, my requirement as well, and the newly created test case. And I'm going to generate a test package for this. And we can see here, going back to the work package, that the new test package has been created and associated to the work package itself, so that we achieve a great relationship between our objects, and of course with these strong relationships we will also get a very strong transparency on the different statuses of these entities and their progress. I will now take the role of a tester, and I'm in the tester application, my test execution, where I will see all the data, all the material which is available for me to test. And we can see here that the test package has just been created and that it's available for testing. We find here the test case that we have previously created, the automated test case that was created. We have the solution process information, and we are ready to execute. So now we'll just start the execution. This is a lab preview. This is not yet available and will be delivered by Tricentis and SAP in the near future. What we can do now, and it's really exciting, we can synchronize test packages between SAP Solution Manager and Tricentis. The benefit of that is that we will be now in the future in position where we can do two things. First would be to trigger the execution from Solution Manager into Tricentis in background and get the results back into Solution Manager. And also the second aspect of it will be to receive into Solution Manager execution of these test packages which were triggered from the outside world. And the outside world could be from Tricentis directly or from any other pipeline tool which will trigger the execution in Tricentis and also provide the results in Solution Manager. This is a very strong step for us in the area of DevOps. This is just, again, a lab preview of what it would look like. The test cases were executed. The execution was not triggered from Solution Manager, yet the test cases and their test logs are received into Solution Manager. Going back into today's world, we can see that the execution of the automated test case has failed, right? We have here information about the logs. We can jump into the test automation tool, into Tricentis, to take a closer look at why the execution failed. And again, here you would manage the lifecycle, you manage the troubleshooting in the Tricentis environment where you have all the needed information. Going back into Solution Manager, where we do really all the test management and test orchestration, here it's the right time to create a defect. We have an execution which failed. Before investigating, we have a link to a log. We should create a defect. By pushing this simple button from the application itself, I will now create the defect. This information is provided by default. All the information about the test plan, test package is provided by default. You provide the title and then some more details. You can also do the categorization of your defect and then just create it. Immediately the defect is associated to the test case execution, which is currently in error status. The defect now will be processed further in Solution Manager. Investigation will take place to find out why the test case failed, and it will finally come to resolution, and this test case will be retested and then validated. Let's take a look into the different reporting that we have. So this is the test suite dashboard, which provides reporting on your test execution progress and also on your defects. You can see here the defect breakdown for several test plans. We also have within the test suite dashboard a full what we call traceability matrix, and you can see here that we will start at the project level, looking into the requirement itself from which we started, information about the business process, of course, the work package, the test plan ID, the test package ID, and so on, providing full traceability all the way into the development. And this is why you can see that this reporting is marked as full cross-topic reporting, because it really allows you to get visibility all the way from the requirement into the deployment, all the way from the requirement to deploy process. And here's what I just highlighted. This is another analytics that we have into Solution Manager, SAP Solution Manager. This is what we call the SAP Solution Readiness Dashboard. Very, very comprehensive reporting. You get reporting for your overall status of your project. You know how many work packages, how many work items are currently in the scope. You have information about risks, the current wave progress, how you are doing in your implementation, functional specification, technical design, test case availability, unit test information, defect correction, test status, and defect details. You get with this view an extremely comprehensive view which allows you to do direct reporting of your project status from all the angles from the application lifecycle management. Again, going all the way from the requirement into the defects. We have here another view for reporting, which is based on the business process this time. You can select here the business process that you're interested into. And based on this business process, you will get here full visibility into the requirements, which are associated to these processes, the work packages, their status, the testing status. So again, very strong reporting capabilities, this time with a focus on the business processes themselves. And finally, the deployment dashboard, the release dashboard, which gives you a full visibility in your work packages, their current status, and their testing status. You can go directly into the work package and look at all the aspects of the lifecycle, of the application lifecycle management, the status reached, and the fact that it was successfully tested in different steps. Providing here to the deployment manager an amazing visibility on what to deploy, the risks that he or she might potentially take to make the sound decisions of deploying or not deploying. I hope that this short demo helped you to understand what are the different capabilities of SAP Solution Manager, but let's have a quick recap on that. First of all, Solution Manager integrates best-of-breed tools to turn them into an end-to-end business transformation suite. Let's take a look at this. The business users will start by doing the business process modeling in Signavio, really working on the business processes as they are today and as they want them to be in the future. Then these business processes will be synchronized with SAP Solution Manager, providing the link mapping these business processes into the software solution. Once this is done, right, the different requirement management aspect will happen in SAP Solution Manager. Also, the technical building of the solution for these requirements will happen in SAP Solution Manager. And here, when testing comes, SAP Solution Manager will orchestrate the whole testing, relying on the best-of-breed capabilities from Tricentis for test automation for SAP and non-SAP. And finally, when this has been successfully tested and can be deployed into the production, don't forget the learning aspect that SAP Enable now can also provide to you. Hence, with this comprehensive solution, we really bring to you, our customers, an end-to-end transformation suite. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you will enjoy your application lifecycle management journey with SAP and Tricentis. Thank you very much.